Hi, Camp Mateys. I've seen weather predictions. It looks looking like we might have rain the first couple of days, and I have camped in the rain like a lot. And so I thought I might just like share some information about how to be prepared for rain. And I don't have time or energy to put it in writing, and like two people would read it anyway. So I thought I'll make a video. Um, so, like I said, I've camped in the rain many times, even in a tropical storm, twice, um, and made it through. Was able to stay dry. Also, one bright point about this is it looks like the rain is mainly going to be Thursday. Looks like late, some showers on Friday, but then like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, clear, which is great because while setting up in the rain sucks, packing up in rain and taking everything home wet sucks much more. And there are ways that I have set up in the rain. I have set up my mega tent, which I haven't used in years, but it's literally 20 feet long by 10 feet deep. And then I have a 20-foot by 30-foot tarp that I put over it. Yeah, anyhow, if anybody's in the market for gigantic mega tent, let me know. But yeah, I have set that up in the rain, like heavy rain, and all good. So, anyhow, my camp is pretty well equipped for rain. I'm more concerned about the prospect of muddy conditions, like over this coming week, and not being allowed to drive in. If that's the case, like we may end up having to like bring things in on wagons, but I'm not, like, again, it doesn't look like it's going to be like a torrential downpour on Tuesday and Wednesday, so I'm not too concerned about that. All right, so I've made this list. I bring, you bring, and then how to secure the tarp over the tent. So I'm adding to everything that I'm already bringing. I'm bringing a 10-foot by 20-foot large tarp, my 20-foot by 30-foot mega tarp, and I have paracord rope, and just like really thin rope. It's not even like it's like an eighth of an inch wide, but it's very thin, very strong. It's used for parachutes, thin and lightweight. And I have stakes for all those tarps. So, and I'm bringing, in addition to the poles that I already promised to Magic, for their shade over their tent, which will also be good for rain protection Magic. I'm going to bring the 3 8-foot poles that used to hold up the tripod to hang the shower bag, which are no longer needed because I have a much better setup now. Not that we'll be taking many showers given the temperatures, but anyhow. So what that will allow is a lot of these tarps can go over multiple tents. And if we take the poles and we put them here and there around camp, let's say you have a tarp over your tent, well, you want to angle it so that like one corner, or preferably like what would be like the eave in the front, is higher than everything else, because you don't want like a puddle. You don't want a puddle on top of your tent. You want things to be angled. So what that allows, having these poles here and there throughout camp, is you can tie a rope from your tarp that is over your tent, if you opt to bring a tarp, totally, again, optional backup. But you can have it going to one of these poles that will be like shoved into the ground as far as we can sledgehammer it. And then we want to have like multiple people tying to them so that they're pulled in different directions, or we might have to do guidelines. Anyhow, this could all be overkill. We may like get there and it might be such a like light enough sprinkle that I don't need any of this. But again, I'm always all about being more prepared than underprepared. And we're finally going to make really good use of my rain gutters. We didn't even put them up for this last Constellation or PDF, but I built these custom rain gutters that Velcro between the 3 large canopies, so that like the rain doesn't fall down between them. It runs off of the sides. They're really cool. So, and I'm also going to bring some like other tarps. I have some like ideas for like hack options, like between the 2 smaller canopies in the kitchen area and between one of those and Stephanie and David's canopy that they're bringing to expand our communal area. So, that's all stuff I'm bringing in case we need it for rain protection. And then, come Saturday, once everything's dry, we can fold it up and put it all away. We won't need it for the rest of the weekend. So you should make sure that you bring waterproof shoes, such as galoshes, if possible. If you don't have those, I mean, I've used my like Dansko clogs. just something you can slosh around in. A rain poncho, if you have one. If you don't have like a nicer rain poncho, you can get, just like a dollar store, like a one from the dollar store or Rite Aid or whatever. They're like disposable, basically a plastic bag. I have like a waterproof rain hat that I bring, that I find especially helpful for when I'm setting up. Extra socks, and this looks like it's gonna be pretty cool at night. Yay! Hopefully not too cold. But preferably wool socks, because wool socks, even if they get wet, they don't feel as cold and clammy as cotton socks. Plastic tubs to keep your clothing and other things that shouldn't get wet in are always great. I don't do any of that because I have to do things that are in squishable containers for my personal effects, towels and clothing and stuff, because I can't afford the space for plastic tubs. There's too much air in there. And they can't be like squished in nooks and crannies. But plastic tubs to have your clothes in are always great because that way they stay dry in there. You should have this already, a footprint tarp for under your tent. A footprint tarp is just a tarp that is about the same size as the base of the tent or a little bit narrower. Personally, I actually like when I have a tarp that is a little bigger. So what I do is the three sides that are furthest from the door, I make sure that they're turned under, but then I like to extend the if I have if the tarp is bigger than the base of my tent, I'll actually extend it in the front past the door a little bit, so I have a little porch area. Eventually that gets muddy too, but it's a place so you can put your shoes and stuff. So yeah, and then a tarp to put up over your tent. Anything from your really cheap basic blue noisy plastic tarp to there are nicer, thinner, lightweight tarps that are made for backpacking. But ideally it is at least a couple square feet bigger than your tent all around. Bonus if it's so big that it can actually go to the ground. And then you want to have sturdy stakes and rope, such as paracord or bungees. Actually, bungees work great. To go from the grommets and the edges of the tarp to the ground. I'll be bringing my usual plastic mallet and this time my heavy metal sledgehammer. Plus I'll have my impact driver, but those only work if you have the impact, or if you have the hex screws I'm going to bring. If that's something that interests you, let me know and I'll give you the specs for what size you have to get, but I don't think it's necessary for this burn. I'm just using them for the giant canopies in case we get a crazy windstorm again, which we won't, of course. And then also it's good to bring something that you can tie around the rope, the guy lines, to reduce a trip hazard. If there are any that are going to be going from up high to the ground, that's always a good idea, even if you have guy lines on your tent, something to tie around them periodically. I've even taken white plastic trash bags and cut them in slices, and then I end up with little white things that I can just tie them periodically. You may have seen them on some of the guidelines on my canopies. And then it's always good to bring extra towels so that you have the towels to wipe down things that get wet. And also at the end of the weekend, when you go to fold up your tent, it should be all dry on the inside, but it'll be wet underneath. And so as you fold it up, you can go across on your knees and use a towel to wipe the underside. Do the next fold, wipe, roll, do the next fold, wipe, roll. That way you don't have to take it home and unpack it and dry it out, because we should be able to have them dry at the end of the week. Also, in case I forget to mention it as people are setting up there, good idea to have your tent door face downhill so that if any water is running in, I don't think it's gonna be so heavy that it runs in, but still having if there's a slight uphill or downhill, have the tent door face downhill. I always do that. It's just habit. So yeah, I know that was a lot, and hopefully it's all overkill, but I thought I just share Tired MILF's tips and tricks for camping in the rain, because I've done it a lot. Let's see. Yeah, oh, and also your guy lines that go from your tarps, they don't have to just go to the ground. You could use guy line to attach one corner to, like I said, those poles that I'm going to bring, or if a neighboring tent owner is okay with it, maybe one of the guidelines could go to like a neighboring tent. Or if you have some of these tarps some tarps will be big enough that they can go over more than one tent, and that's great because then you have a walkway between your tents, as long as you either have it taut enough that it doesn't sag in the middle, or at least so that the parts that do sag, there will be like channels where the rain will go down instead of pooling. Because then you have a big problem if it pools, weighs the tents down. If nobody notices it and goes under and pushes it up so that it drains, then take things down. So, excuse me. All right. Thanks, you all. See you in 4 days, most of you. Bye.